Go and take a ride with me. Dance a bit over your world. Come on. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new, hi, I'm Mpumi. And if you are coming back, bo sweetie, bo baby, bo love, thank you so much for coming back to yet another video. So as you guys can see from the title of the video, today I'm going to be doing Foundation 101. We're discussing all things foundation, application, undertones. Listen, we're discussing everything before you even try to put on your makeup. We need to discuss a lot of things. So if you are interested in seeing how I go about illustrating, if you want to find out more information on your skin, how you can find your foundation, your correct shade, come on girl, come through, okay? And don't forget to like, to comment, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We are moving. I don't even want to say road to anything. We're just moving. So let's move together. And yeah, guys, I think let's just get straight into the video. So first things first, let's discuss the reality of our skin. So a lot of people ask me like, how come, don't mind this, we crusty right now, but it's okay. So a lot of people have asked me like, how do I find my right shade? Why can't I find my right shade? How come you can find your right shade? Like, and attacking me sometimes, but it's okay. I understand, because even I used to struggle to find my correct shade. Basically what you need to understand is that our skin, this across the face, there are different shades. You can even see from my face that this area is quite light, but this area can tend to get a bit dark. This area is dark. It's light right here, but this whole area is kind of dark. So you're gonna have different shades on your own face. You're not gonna just be one tone or evened out. Yes, with time and treatment and skincare, and you can get to that point, but we are, honestly, if we're being realistic, we do have different shades on our faces. So a way that you can check to see what your correct shade is to look at past areas that are close to your face. So that would include your shoulders, your jawline, as well as your neck. That is the closest place to your face, not your hands. Remember I did say in the one video, so you need to look at the closest place to your face to be able to see what your true shade is. The aim of foundation is uniformity. We are trying to almost have one canvas before we start to do things like concealing and contouring and powders and things like that, because our skin is not doing that already. The best way to check out if a foundation works would be your jawline, and I will discuss further different places, ways that you can check for your shade, your correct shade. So for me, when I think of foundation, I think of it disappearing onto your skin. That is how you know that it is your true match. If it's not going to disappear on your skin and it's going to sit there and we're going to see the difference, it's more than likely that either it's not your shade or it's close to your shade, but the undertone is what is not yours. So yeah, we'll get into that in a bit. And foundation does not do the job of a concealer or a corrector. So you need to remember that when you're picking out a foundation, yes, you can have full coverage foundations, sheer foundations in different kinds, but at the end of the day, foundation does not do the job of a concealer or a corrector. So when you are picking a foundation, don't have that in mind. That's where you can, that's when you do things like concealing and correcting. But it's not meant to cover all your imperfections. So just remember that before you just, get mad at a foundation thinking it's your shade. But no. It wasn't meant to cover your whole face anyway. Yes, there are different levels to the coverage, but that's a story for another day. I am, by the way, looking at my book It has all my notes. I know you didn't really see that, but it has all of my notes. So please don't be shocked when I keep going down and looking down. So we can start by looking at the different kinds of foundations that are out there. We have 4 kinds. Firstly, you have your liquid foundation, and that is good for honestly all skin types, from your oily skin, your dry skin, your normal skin, and your combination skin, because there's different formulas that work for different kinds of skin types. And I know there are some brands that actually cater a specific foundation to the specific skin type, and then they have different skin type formulas. Yeah, man. And then there's different kinds of looks that it will give you: satin-like, dewy, matte. You know the vibes. You know what I'm talking about. Come on, you know what I'm talking about. Second one is the cream foundations, and there are a lot more lately. Not even lately, but there are a lot of different cream foundations out there. It is a much thicker consistency than your liquid foundation, and it would be great for skin types like your normal to your dry skin, because it does have a lot of hydrating properties in it. But honestly, for me, when I think foundation, all of my foundations need to be hydrating. I don't want a foundation that's going to feel tight. That is up to you. It's by preference, but for me, I know I don't want a foundation ezoba tight manje angifile ubuso bami. No. And then the third one is your stick foundation. Those, there are a lot. You guys do know what they look like. I actually don't have one here. For me, when I think of oily skin, I think that would be a great foundation. The only thing that I think people need to remember with stick foundations, and I could be wrong, but from my experience, your stick foundations you need to melt it basically before you apply it, for it to apply the way it is, like its best way. You need to mix it with heat. You need to blend it. You need to, something that needs to happen for you to have the full experience of a stick foundation. I'm not really a fan, in as much as it would be great for like a dewy look. I'm not too much of a fan of stick foundations, and that's why I don't know too much about it. But as far as I do know, you need to almost mix it with heat to get the right consistency, the right look on your skin. And then the last one would be your powder foundations. That is great for oily skin, because it will now hold all the oils. It will become a barrier for the oil. It won't move through, and throughout the day it could, depending on the kind of product that you use, but quality is better than quantity in my opinion when it comes to such. And yeah, oily skin would be great for that. And then with all of these foundations, for me at least, I wanted to moisturize my face, I wanted to hydrate my face, and I do not want to feel tight. With regards to the finish, that is another thing. It depends on the look that I'm going for, but yes. Okay, so on to undertones. Now, there are 2 kinds of tones on our face. We have the surface tones, and that's exactly what it means. It means exactly that. So it is what is on your face, the surface of your face. And then you have your undertone, which is what is actually important. And that is the colors that don't change on the skin. Those are the colors that are there forever, There are different kinds of undertones, and in my opinion, when you're looking at your foundation and matching your foundation, the best thing to look at is your undertone first, because that will determine the kind of foundation that you're going for. Some foundations are not very warm tone, for an example, and if you go for like a foundation like that, you're probably not going to really get the tone that you're looking for, and you're always going to be unhappy with the finish. So yeah, there are different kinds of undertones. You have your silver undertone, your rosy or pink undertone, your peach undertone, your neutral, your yellow, your olive, as well as your red tones. Now that's being very specific. And I don't think that for me, I know exactly the first 2, but let me just carry on speaking and see, and you'll see as we go what I know and what we can all learn from each other. So with all of that, to simply put it, it would be your cool, your warm, and your neutral tones. So if you have yellow in your skin, I have a bit of yellow in my skin, then you have warmer tones, undertones. If you have bluish, pinkish, lapho, you have cooler tones. Now, that can be a bit confusing, but as I keep going, you will also start to understand what I'm trying to talk about. So, how to check for your own undertone. Now, there are different ways, simple and a bit more technical, but each one works. So the first thing that you can do is you can look at yourself in natural daylight, okay? Not artificial lighting like I have now, but daylight. And that's where you will see more or less the hints, the color hint, okay, that is underneath the surface of your skin. For me, that would be close to the yellow, but not too yellow, not peachy, listen, I'm a warm tone, hun. I'm a warm undertone kind of hun. And even when I go for foundations, I go for either warm to neutral because I'm not close to rose, I'm not close to pinkish or silver. I'm very, very close to warm yellow undertones. Second thing you could do is to actually just check your veins. So you can check your veins anywhere on your body, but for me, I have almost a greenish shade, like the color of my veins is actually almost green. So if it is greenish, you are close to the warmer undertone. If it is listen to me, I almost didn't know. If it is purplish or bluish, you have cooler undertones like I said earlier on. And then if it is colorless or it's almost close to the shade of your skin, then you are on the side of neutral. So hopefully that will simplify what I just said earlier on. Another thing that you can do is you can try getting samples when you go to a store. Some places do allow for you to buy or purchase or get samples. Do check those out, and you can use it in broad daylight and check to see whether it matches your undertone or not. And the last thing that I think the lazy gal can do is to just ask a beauty consultant at a store. For me, I prefer to ask someone who at the store when I've already known what the basics for me are. So I know that I've got natural undertones. I know maybe I've gone onto the website of the brand that I'm looking for and I've looked at their swatches, and then I've like compared different swatches and I had an idea of the kind of range that I'd be looking at. So by the time I get to the store, I already know who I'm talking to, I already know what I'm doing, and I already know what's good, you know. But those are the different ways of looking and finding your undertone and going about checking your undertone. So undertones on foundations. I'm like, we're going fast, hey? So undertones on your foundation. Now this is important because like I said, your undertone can be the basis of the foundation that you go for. Now, like I said, you can be either cool, warm, or neutral. And then you can also be olive, like I said earlier on. Those are the four that I'm going to deal with now. So if you are cool on the side of the cool undertone, you have a slightly pink color in the bottle. Your foundation will have a slightly pink color. So you should avoid all yellow, because imagine yellow and pink. What will that do to your face? What will that do to your face? You know? The second is your slightly warmer tones, and that's where you'll have a bit of yellow colors in the foundation. So I am on the side of yellow. I'm going to show you one that is my perfect shade. And this is the MAC SPF Fluid Foundation. Do you see there's hints of yellow in the shade? Yes, you can. I love to see it. I love to hear the responses. And then you have your neutral shade, and that is more on the combination of both your pink and your yellow, where it's, like I said, almost the shade of your skin. So if you don't see any grays, any pinks, any silvers, you don't see any color, it's just almost neutral. And I think I have one that is on the neutral side. There isn't much color to it. This is my Born to Glow Natural Foundation. I don't know if you guys can see that clearly. It has a hint of pink, but it also does, when I apply, have a hint of yellow. So that's why I'm saying it's close to the neutral shades. It is a bit hard to find one, hence why I say it's good to sometimes ask a beauty consultant and to research, because sometimes just going on the internet and reading up on the brand's foundation can help you a long way in finding out what the shade is about and the undertone that you are going to get when you get the foundation. And then your olive is looking at more of a golden, yes, a golden color, not a yellow, golden. So yes, I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. And then when we are going on to applying the foundation, so you have different ways of, checking and doing your foundation. But one thing I've noticed, and I can speak on the L'Oreal Infallible foundation. This foundation, guys, shocked me. So what happens is that for some foundations, the minute you put it on, it will be completely different from the shade that you are. This one actually looks almost a shade or two lighter. And literally after about 10 minutes, 10, 20, 30 minutes, it will settle into my shade. So the undertone was correct to my undertone. So the minute it settled into my face, it became the correct shade. That is something that I think a lot of people can sometimes miss when they buy foundations. And that's why I say that looking at your undertone first can be a very good indication of the foundation that you should be going for. And then, like I said, checking yourself in the daytime with the foundation is a good way to see whether or not it is really your shade. And then ways that we can actually do the foundation. I'm gonna do it. So you can either do it with a damp beauty blender, a clean one. This is a clean one. It just is a brown color. That's what I love about it. You can also use a foundation brush. Okay, I've got a bit of hair. A foundation brush. This is a foundation brush from Foschini Beauty. So you can use either one. You can even use your hands. So I'm gonna do all three ways for me. I'm gonna go for different foundations. I'm gonna use the L'Oreal Infallible foundation because, like I said, the L'Oreal foundation, because like I said, it settles into my face. A foundation that I love this foundation because I did a review on it. I will link it up in the cards. And guys, this was literally my shade. It is the Revlon Colorstay foundation in the shade Espresso. This is like a really amazing foundation for drugstore. And then another foundation that I will be trying out is the MAC, like I said before, the fluid foundation. So those are the three different foundations that we're going to use right now, and we're going to test them out in the different ways that you can check for your shade. So remember when I spoke about the best way to check your foundation, it is using this is a very watery consistency, is by checking your jawline. So this is the L'Oreal foundation. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna let me bring you guys a bit closer. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it looks like it is not my shade. So I'm just gonna do that. This doesn't even look close to my foundation, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a beauty blender to, I hate using my hands, but I'm gonna use a beauty blender just to blend that out, and then you'll see in a second I'll use a different part of my face to see how it settles into the face. So look at that, it looks lighter, right? It looks lighter, right? I know. But look at how it almost disappears into my face, like, chill. And that was in seconds. I'm so sorry, but did you see that? Okay, let me quickly clean up and come back to do the next one. Okay, so we're now gonna go into the second foundation. That foundation really shocked me today, hey? Ma'am, maybe because I'm doing it on like a certain point on my face, it's not the full area. But did you see how that was a warm undertone and it literally just settled and disappeared into my skin? Disappear into the skin is important. So the second one is the Colorstay foundation. This is in the shade 21 or Espresso. It is the oily to combination, what is it? Combination oily skin. I'm just using a drop. Now that one looks a lot. I actually didn't do this. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna show all foundations at the back of my hand just so that we can see the different undertones. So this one is the L'Oreal, and you see how it literally doesn't even look like this one, but this one was the L'Oreal. Do you see how it settled into my face, honey? This is the Revlon Colorstay, and I'm now going to do a... So like I said, you could do a strip, but close to the jawline, remember? Now we're going to do a half cheek swab, which is another way of checking your foundation. I'm just going to do this. Okay, so can you see how it has... Let me zoom you guys in. Do you see how it has almost like warm undertones, but also very neutral-like? That is this one. This one. It's the nice one. It's the one that I said I ride by. So I'm gonna use a foundation brush just to use different products, different tools. And right now I'm not doing this. No, I'm dabbing. Okay. So what I usually do is, and this is without primer, guys, which is wrong, but we'll discuss that in a second. Wow. What do you even mean? Like, what do you even mean? I'm gonna use a beauty blender just to blend that out one last time. I mean, do you guys even see the foundation between the two sides? Obviously you can, but like, can you? I don't think you can. I don't think you can. Look at that. Oh my God, Revlon, honey. Pull through. Ah! Okay. I'm sorry, I just love the finish. So, you know what? Let's just do the same thing, because the other thing that you could do is Google swatches, but we're not going to do that now on the internet. So I'm just going to quickly just do the MAC one. Ooh, chill. And then I'm just going to... I took too much out. Let's just put some of it back, honey. Okay. Wasted product. Okay. So this one that is a bit messy is the MAC foundation. I forgot to say my shades. So the L'Oreal one is shade number 355. So Terra de Sienne. I'm sorry if I pronounced it incorrectly. The Revlon one is the espresso, like I said, and then the MAC is shade NC50. But do you see how it looks like it's lighter than all of them? Do you guys see that? And this is actually really, really pretty. It's got a very yellow undertone. It's probably just close to this one in terms of shade, but let's check this one out. I actually put too much product back inside, but we're going to use it now on the other side of my face because I'm too lazy to remove this Revlon, honey. And I think I'm just gonna leave you guys at the distance that you're at right now. I feel like we're up close and personal right now. Okay, and then I'm just gonna use a beauty blender straight away without the brush, just to show you guys that you can use either route, either thingy, either tool. Okay, so can you see how I'm talking too much? Yes, even my spit is out of control. Okay, so let's have a conversation in a second. Okay, let's look at my face right now. I used the Revlon this side and the MAC this side. The one looks a little bit to the yellow side, like the yellow undertone than the other. This looks more neutral than this. But do you see how they both did what? Disappear into this. Oh my God. At this point, I should just do my makeup because they look like the same thing. This just looks a little bit more to the warmer side than this side. But come on. Like, you know what? I'm not even going to speak anymore about this because you know what? Y'all can see for yourselves. Gucci. Iya popa. Le foundation. Zoe tools. Iya popa. That's it. That's on period. Let me quickly wash my face so that we can discuss priming and prepping our skin. Okay, I'm back. Let me just put on some lip stuff. Okay, so let's discuss prepping your face. Now, in order for you to have flawless and seamless foundation, there's a lot that you need to do to your skin first. And for me, the most important thing when it comes to your foundation is your skin. For me, the base is the most important thing. So, first things first, you need to have a clean, cool, fresh face. So what do I mean by that? If you've just washed your face, like I quickly washed my face, right? If you've washed your face and then you wash your face with hot water, then as soon as you're done, you quickly put on your lotion and then you quickly just put on foundation. You've put hot skin plus foundation, a liquid cream, whatever. Imagine what it does to your skin and then imagine how it's gonna look once it settles. Uzogowa. So the first thing that you need to do is to make sure that not only is your face clean and fresh, but it is also cool. You don't want your foundation melting, and then once it's settled, now it's settled in weird ways. The formula plus the primer plus your sweat or your skin is just doing a lot to the face. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're in my business, don't do that. You're in the foundation like that, don't do that. Okay? So, also you need to wash your face. You can't put on makeup on a dirty face. Come on. That's just common knowledge. It's common sense. Don't do that. Second thing you need to do is to moisturize your face. Now, for me, I wash my face and then I'll use my day cream. And then once I finish doing my day cream, I use spring water, but we'll talk about that in a second. What you can use is your serums, your moisturizer, as long as your face is moisturized and hydrated. You don't want your face to look ashy, right? And the reason why I didn't do anything right now is because I'm gonna do something else in a second. So you need to have a clean face and a moisturized face, because sometimes a dry face can just affect your makeup badly from the get-go, all right? Especially because of the climate that we're in. The climate that you're in might not help at all either. So you can use lotions, serums, whatever floats your boat. That's good, that's on you. Another thing that you could do is to use like spraying moisturizers. So something that I like to use, and I don't consider it a moisturizer, but I definitely use it before I put on my makeup because it really makes my skin feel good. And for me, as long as I'm feeling good, everything's gonna fall into place. And that is the you can't even see it that clearly, honey. Hey, there we go. It is the Avene Thermal Water. I ride by this product. This is what I use every single time I'm about to do my makeup, because this child, I mean, what was the reason? What was the reason for it to moisturize, refresh, and still make me look good? Like, what was the reason? You know? So you can use that as well. Let me just let it settle into my face. You can use that as well. Oopsie. Oh, that feels a bit better. You can use that to set your lotions, or just to prep and prime your skin before any application of makeup. And also, once you're done doing that, don't just immediately do your face. Immediately put on primer, immediately, because like I said, everything's gonna start to melt when you do things too fast. Everything needs you to take time. It's a process. Don't rush it. So yeah, let all the products that you've just used settle into your skin first before you decide to even put any primer, because patches and things like that. And people have really experienced that. Even I've experienced that, and it's because I rushed the process. I didn't let the things take their time to like settle into my face. I really hope I said that correctly. So while my skin is settling into my face, because I'm not going to be putting on makeup for this video. That's on period. We're going to discuss primers. So right in front of me, I have about chill. Oh, chill. 5 really good drugstore primers. Cool. I have the Essence. I don't know what's wrong. The Essence Mattifying and Pore Minimizing Primer with Black Clay. I have the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop Matte Primer, which is chill, very matte. We have the Black Radiance True Complexion HD Primer, which I use very rarely, but it's a good one as well. It's HD, come on, chill. And then 2 of my riders, like these are 2 that I even carry with me when I'm traveling and stuff like that, is the Maybelline Baby. This is the new packaging, if it can. I'm so sorry, guys. This is the Maybelline Baby Skin. There we go. Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. And then I also use the Revlon Rose Glow Primer. These 2 are truly my riders because I do have dry skin, so I hate using mattifying primers. And I also like the finish that it makes gives my skin before I can even apply foundation. So those are the different primers that I have. Now, you need to use the primer that will suit your skin type, number 1. And you need to make sure your primer works well with your foundation. So with that being said, if you have oily skin, you can really use a lot of mattifying primers, but make sure it still hydrates your skin. You don't want to feel tight. And to be completely honest, this one, it will make your skin feel tight, but it is long lasting. So you can use this on places where you know you will sweat in 5 seconds. Just that one spot. Don't go heavy on this one, because this one, if you go too heavy, it can even give you flaky, like white flakiness. Cool. Second thing is the normal skin primers, and there you can use any primer that suits you. But there are different finishes. Like I said, you can have really velvet looks, sheen, satin, sheer, mattifying, dewy, you know what I'm talking about. And then you can have dry skin primers. For me, like I said, I use primers that come with like glows, like this primer, as well as primers that are moisturizing and hydrating, like this primer, the HD, if it can just look nice. Can't. And then one thing I write by is this pore minimizing primer, because it really does remove the pores as best as it could. And for me, that's around my nose area more than anything, because just here at the top, chair, it makes the foundation look funny when I don't use that primer. So those are the different primers that you can use. Make sure if you've already done all those previous steps that I've said before, you are letting your primer like settle into your skin. And by that I mean you don't just put it on like rushing. You like let it, massage your nose. Like, look at that. My nose almost disappeared, like the all the problematic things like your pores, and that automatically disappeared, child. What do you even mean? What do you even mean? And then, yeah, another thing is that you can use different primers on the skin. You don't have to use like one primer for your whole face. Like I said, if you have combination oily skin, for an example, combination skin, and this is the area that gets oily, like your T-zone, then you can put right here by your T-zone, and then the rest of your face you use something else. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You can definitely do that. It's not a crime. It's your face. At the end of the day, you need to prioritize what works for your face. Then the last thing that I'm going to discuss, right, is color correcting and concealing. Now, as you guys know, if you don't already, and please do watch my previous videos to see if you don't already, is you can correct your face and conceal the face before you put foundation, depending on the foundation that you're using. A foundation that I never put anything underneath, for an example, besides primer and moisturizing and stuff, is the Revlon Full Coverage Foundation, the Colorstay Full Coverage Foundation. This foundation, I don't even try to put anything underneath like my foundation besides primer, because it's high coverage. It's not even full coverage, it's high coverage. And I don't need to work so hard. I don't need to work so hard on putting certain things like correcting, because like, to be completely honest, for me, I don't like my dark circles and I don't like this area, so I would love to always correct it. But for an example, this foundation, I don't need to do that. It does the job for me, even though not all foundations do that, okay? And then with me, if I'm gonna be doing like a friend's makeup or whatever, and they do genuinely need to correct their face, I always say that go with what you're comfortable with. A lot of people use darker foundations like Miss XO. Some people use a concealer that's really close to their shade but it's full coverage, and they use that before they put on their foundations, and that's something that I would sometimes do. It is a bit old now, but this is the Fit Me concealer in the shade 55. This is what I use, and it literally brightens up the eyes because there can be some dullness underneath the eyes. It brightens up my eyes, and it makes it look almost like I've already put on foundation. So by the time I put on foundation, I'm just basically giving the rest of my face uniformity, and then my face looks like the bomb.com. And then yeah, I'm not really too well versed on correcting, but as far as I do know, if you do have redness, you can use like a greenish yellowy concealer, something a lot like this. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. Oh, I'm so tired of not like, I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. This is the NYX, this is the NYX concealer, and this is something that someone who has a bit of redness could use, but like you can already see, I didn't use it, I don't use it. And this is also the medium shade, it's not for the dark people, so I bought it in the sale, chill. And then if you have warm or neutral shades and you want to correct, you could use shades like your yellows and your oranges. But it all depends on really what you want to do. And like I said, for me, I use concealer, I don't use a corrector. So yeah, man, I think I've reached the end of the video. I don't think there's anything else to discuss. Yeah, but if you guys are really interested in seeing how I go about doing my full foundation routine, I probably will do it because a lot of people have already asked me before and I haven't done an updated one recently. I will gladly do that for you. Just let me know in the comment section. I hope that this was very educational and you got some tricks and tips on how you can find your correct shade. I hope that it was very interesting and you could engage with your own concerns, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. At the end of the day, please don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe to my channel. There's a notification bell down below. Please do click it so you know every time I upload. And yeah, man, I can't wait to see you in my next video. I'm gonna go do my makeup now because I feel like doing my makeup and I've just primed, so why not? Okay, bye.